長官ユナイテッドエンパイア今日は試合があったそして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるってよみんなブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. This is episode number 84. I am your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our co-host, King Rome. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
Doing all right. I see you got that awesome Philadelphia Phillies hat on. Let's go.
Yeah, man, waiting for Friday. I'm very excited.
Yeah, World Series starts up on Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and one
man,
of the most
go.
magical clinching games that was fucking incredible. That was the most incredible moment in a long time.
They're gonna make movies about Bryce Harper's home run there, man. That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean the vibe check in the city is that Bryce home run is probably top 5 Philadelphia sports moment in the last 20 years. So
yeah,
you know it's. I mean, I've seen the conversation. It's like 3 or 4. Which I think that's justifiable. I think that's fair.
Yeah, you gotta, All right. Well, tonight we are doing our AEW Dynamite review. Absolutely awesome episode of Dynamite tonight. Fantastic. And this was one of those nights where we went with quality over quantity. We had, I think it was only like maybe 6. Was it? Really good quality matches we had here tonight. So this was a really, really excellent episode of Dynamite. Coach Nick in the chat. What's up, man? Big T. We also got that was Coach Nick earlier. We got Rome in there as well. What's up, everybody? Coach Nick says he called it the Padres would choke. Man, I don't know if I would call it choking as much as the Phillies just fucking rallying and kicking some ass and that magical hit by Bryce Harper, man.
I mean, yeah, they did choke, but at the same time, there's just something special about this Phillies team. The way that they just keep winning for each other, winning for the city. The fact that the Phillies haven't lost a playoff game here at home. Coming in as a wild card spot this is the first year that this wild card spot even exists. It's just it's something about the team and just the way we rally around the team. And it's something that's special in Philadelphia sports. I mean, if you're in the Discord, I was spamming the Discord with just videos of reactions, the city celebrating. We had Philly Elmo make an appearance in the city. He was walking down Broad Street, and yes, I did say Philly Elmo. We do have that here in Philadelphia. Eagles players, Jordan Mailata, left tackle for the Eagles, was at City Hall in the crowd just celebrating. It's just magical. It's just such a vibe being here, and just wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's awesome living out here. Philadelphia is an awesome sports town and, an even better wrestling town. So I kind of like that. So let's go ahead and get started here. Coach, you can go ahead and make your exit. We are going to start talking about Dynamite here now. You can go ahead and watch it first and, come back and watch later. We will catch you later. So we started off Dynamite tonight with Jericho and Garcia versus Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. Dude, what a tag match. I mean, I love how with the JAS and with the Blackpool Combat Club, we can just keep throwing together tag teams and it's a new match almost every time. It's it's so good the way that they can just put on these banger tag matches, you know, every week.
Yeah, I mean, so I was going to make a point to mention this during the Swerve in Our Glory FTR match. It was in my notes, but I mean, it can't be just overlooked that like AEW has the greatest tag team division in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like you watch this division and you watch these matches with factions that aren't even really technically tag teams, but they're just factions, so they are part of the tag team division, and it's just wild to me. And I love this pairing of Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. Um, Regardless of what happens with the Blackpool Combat Club, I think that that's a team that we do continue to see. Um, but yeah, I mean, this was a really excellent match, and I love the dynamic here with Claudio and Wheeler Yuta, where it's like Claudio is just fucking insane in terms of like what he can do physically, and Wheeler Yuta just screams hungry. He's just like this dude. Just when he's in the ring and I'm watching him wrestle, I just feel like he's got a purpose. Everything
Yeah.
he's doing has a purpose to it, and I just think that that's just it translates.
It
The
really
dude
does,
just
yeah.
seems fucking hungry. Um, and maybe it's because he's been to every home Phillies playoff game. I don't know. But he's feeling it right now, as are most of us here in the city.
Yeah, absolutely. So we started off with Claudio and Garcia, and Claudio just beat the brakes off of Garcia for a couple of minutes here. And Yuta kind of like begged him, like, let me in. You got him where I want him, you know. And Yuta gets in there and he takes advantage of Garcia getting his ass whipped for a few minutes by Claudio. But of course, we get some interference from Jake Hager on the outside there. And man, I gotta say, there's been times where like the referee should have seen some interference here or there. She was staring directly at Jake Hager when he interfered in this match, and she just pretended as if it didn't even happen. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, but they got to work on that just a tad. That was a really egregious one.
Mm.
So you know, after that, we did have a hot tag to you know, Claudio. We got another hot tag to Yuta. Yuta did a really, really awesome front flip over the top ropes into just about everybody. Claudio pulled off one of the best swings I think I have ever seen. He swings Jericho with Garcia up on his shoulders, and it was beautiful. It was perfect. I think he even completed like 5 or 6 full revolutions. It was great.
Yeah, somebody on Twitter called it a UFO swing. So I mean, I guess that's what it's called.
Okay, so
But
yeah, when you put someone on your shoulders and spin, that's the UFO. So okay, they just kind of combine the UFO and the swing. I get it.
yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic, man. I was actually shocked he got that done. If Garcia had weighed much more, I'm not sure he could have pulled that off. But Claudio's a monster, man. I remember back when they asked John Cena like who was the strongest in the locker room because they thought it was him, and he's like, no, he's like it's Claudio for sure.
Mhm.
All right, so you know, after this, Claudio actually hits a neutralizer on Jericho and gets the 1, 2, 3. I was very surprised here at the finish to this. I thought for sure the you know, JAS was gonna pull some shenanigans and get the win here, but no, Claudio, you know, beasts it out and he hits the neutralizer, pins Jericho. What did you think of the finish here? I was not expecting that.
I think it adds to this dynamic that we're seeing with the Blackpool Combat Club in a sense
Oh yeah,
that these guys are winning. And now, granted, Danielson does win his match later on. Um, but I feel like we're going somewhere with that. I do think that it was a good call to have Claudio and Wheeler Yuta win the match. I think that you need the heel eventually to kind of get a little snag in the road, and I think JS has gone large, like mainly undefeated. They haven't really lost. So I think you kind of got to give it to them. I think, Jericho beat it just for me it seems like booking 101. It just kind of makes sense. Jericho beat Claudio for his title. Garcia beat Yuta for his title. You do a rematch with all 4 guys in a tag match. It kind of makes sense for the baby faces to come out and win it. So I mean, I wasn't necessarily surprised, but I mean, again, I think that's good booking. I think when logical decisions are kind of like almost unexpected, like things that make sense.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like a given. Like, I think that's good booking.
Yeah, and they made it make even more sense, with what they did after the match here. They immediately went to Renee Paquette in the back, and she was doing an interview with Bryan Danielson. And in this interview, Danielson was kind of about to start making his point about how he needs to, get back on the winning track. And Yuta and Claudio kind of show up. And what's up, Hassan Terrell? How you doing tonight, sir? I really enjoyed what they did with this, where Claudio is kind of acting like the veteran, you know what I mean? The cool-headed veteran. And Wheeler is kind of egging Danielson on here. He's kind of like, yeah, look what we just did, man. We just went out there and beat their asses. He's like, it's your turn now. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, you were talking shit last week. He's like, let's see what you can do. I just went out and beat your boy. Well, So this was really good. And I liked how Claudio kind of got in the middle of them, because it did look like they were about to start fighting. But Claudio gets in the middle and stops the fight. This was excellent. I love the way that they tied up that finish, like how I was kind of like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. And then they made it make more sense with this whole package,
Yeah, and I think that this whole, them winning and then this segment, it just shows you how far Wheeler Yuta's come. The guy is just, he's firing on all cylinders right now, and obviously he still has ways to go in terms of his promo delivery, but man, when he's talking to Danielson, like, you feel it, like the intensity. He's fucking pissed off at Danielson. He feels like Danielson turned his back on the Blackpool Combat Club, and it's weird. There seems to be dissension in the Blackpool Combat Club. So there's a lot of things in this episode of Dynamite, not bad, but number one, I'm dying to see more. And number two, I have no fucking idea where we're going with this, because it can go multiple ways.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things where, they say we're going to sit down and we're going to, talk this out, and we're going to figure out the problems that the Blackpool Combat Club's having, and we're gonna fix this. Which I loved Claudio being that voice of reason, him getting between his two friends, and he's saying like, all right, guys, we got to settle down and let's figure this shit out. But that being said, I don't know. It's really well booked in a sense that, like, do I see the Blackpool Combat Club breaking up within the next month? Yeah. Do I also see them figuring it out and them sticking together? I mean, yeah, they all won their matches tonight, and
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's one of the best parts here. Is it's really tough to figure out where we're going with it. So, Big T asks in the chat, do you think we're going to get Wheeler versus Danielson at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view? I mean, that's entirely possible, but maybe we shall see.
What if they do Danielson versus Garcia for the pure title?
Danielson versus Garcia for the pure title?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and then Wheeler tries to get it back from him.
Yeah, Wheeler tries to get it back from Danielson.
That's possible.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna do another. I don't know.
We'll see. That's the best part. We have no idea where it's going. So next up, we did have the Jericho Appreciation Society backstage with their version of the aftermatch. They had Tony Schiavone backstage, and this was the entire Jericho Appreciation Society. Everyone. Oh, what's up? Go ahead.
How are you going to skip over the Elite segment video package?
Did I? Oh, I did skip over that. I'm sorry. I had it like one little sentence about it. Yeah, my bad. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna let you take that one since I almost missed this. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, it was really unexpected. They do this segment. They do this interview with Bryan Danielson, and so they cut, and you think they're going to commercial because they seem like we watch AEW shows. We know after that segment, it does like the AEW logo where it kind of wipes in and then it blacks to a commercial. But instead, it gives us this video package, showing the Elite, Kenny and the Bucks and their involvement in AEW, and it all just kind of gets like Thanos snapped away. It's like
yeah, they get like faded out. It was wild.
Yeah, and they show the AEW logo, and the Elite, the E in AEW wipes away, and I was just like, oh shit, like they're coming back. Which, I mean, it was clear, it was pretty much announced throughout this past week that the situation was clearing up and that the Elite were expected back imminently. PW Insider reported, well, Fightful reported that Don Callis was backstage tonight at Dynamite, and then PW Insider reported and confirmed that the Elite, the Elite in general, were there. So the Bucks and Kenny were backstage at Dynamite tonight. So I mean, the CM Punk Elite drama is, seemingly behind us. Although a story dropped, literally 30 seconds before Dynamite went on the air. Nick Hausman from Wrestling Inc. reached out to the CM Punk camp. And basically, now it's seeming like the story was told that the fight started because when the Elite kicked the door in, they hit Larry the dog, Punk's dog, who it loosened some of his teeth, and then like later on the teeth had to be removed, and that is what kind of started the whole thing. It was also
Justice for Larry, man.
It was also said that, again, this is from Punk's camp. We don't know exactly who that it means. It could mean Ace Steel, could
Yeah.
mean Punk. Don't know. But Punk's camp claims that Punk wanted to sue and basically agree. AEW asked him to remain quiet about the whole situation, which he's done. He also meant his camp also talks about how they didn't see the media scrum as a big deal, which that's fucking mind blowing to me. Like, I don't know how you do what you did there. And like, look, I'm a CM Punk guy, but if you think that hijacking a media scrum to talk about your personal issues with Colt Cabana and then talking shit on Hangman and the Elite and MJF and like burying everybody, all the other top stars in the company, burying if it's a shoot. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know how you don't look at that, even if you think you're justified in doing it, as a big deal. Like it's been a month since we've watched the media scrum, but if you go back and watch it, you're probably like what? That
Yeah.
is like, this is not a big deal. Like, making an offhand remark isn't a big deal. This motherfucker went on for 25 minutes.
Dude, I remember when we were doing the post show for Brawl Out, and people were coming into the chat like, "Are you watching this media scrum?" And we were like, "No spoilers." And I'm like, damn, I wish we were watching that shit.
I mean, it is what it is. And then another thing was that Punk's camp also, and in the coach Nick right now, his new favorite wrestler, Hangman Adam Page, he's gonna love this. So apparently Punk's camp was saying that the reason that he had such an issue with Hangman was he thought that their world title match at Double or Nothing this past May was going to evolve into or escalate, or whatever, break down into a shoot fight. He thought Hangman was legitimately going to kick his ass. Is the story that's coming out of the CM Punk camp?
Why would he think that?
Jeff. How you doing, Jeff?
Confused.
I don't fucking know. I don't know. I really don't. So here's my takes, right? Because I feel like I've been relatively quiet about the CM Punk thing, and I know this is a Dynamite review, but this is in line with the Elite, so we're just gonna do it now.
Yeah.
So like CM Punk, right? My thing with it is like, so this whole big thing where like, oh, he's okay. First of all, the WWE stuff where people think he's going to WWE. Like,
That's retarded or ridiculous. I apologize. That's ridiculous.
It's okay. It's okay. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And even if he was, like, number one, I don't think someone in I think it was either Fightful or Meltzer, somebody, a reputable source that I use, said that someone in Triple H's inner circle said it would be a hard no. Although they're willing to do business. But generally, if you're saying hard no, that's probably a hard no.
I mean, dude, okay, if we want to sit here and say that Cody Rhodes talked a bunch of shit on WWE, CM Punk has talked 10 times more shit on the WWE. So if he ever made his way back there, I would just be like, the world's upside down. I don't know what to fucking tell you.
Well, so for me, I would say that, you want to talk about destroying a legacy. Like, Cody Rhodes is one thing. Like, that man lost all credibility. If CM Punk were to go back to WWE, like, I don't know how even the most hardcore as the Fed fan could take this guy seriously. This guy has at this point made a career, made a a living, basically shitting on WWE.
I
Well
think he'd get
deserved.
booed out of the building. The
Yeah, this
WWE fans would boo him out of the building.
you would think so, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it makes sense. I don't think it lines up. If the story's true about Tony Khan trying to buy out his contract, I don't think CM Punk works ever again in wrestling. I just don't see it. I think that he's got other things that he can do in, whether it be writing for Marvel or, he's been doing some filmmaking, whatever, even if it's on a small scale. He's got things that he's doing. And yeah, I think Big T kind of says it 100% here. Punk would surpass Bret Hart as the biggest hypocrite in the history of professional wrestling. And I would completely agree with you. Like, that's just something like, I'm willing to look at CM Punk, and even now, you know what I mean? Like, the whole brawl out thing happened, and I don't condone it. I don't agree with it, but I'm still a CM Punk fan. I consider myself a Punk guy still. I think I feel the way I feel about him, and that's not going to change. I mean, if he goes to WWE, he might as well just be dead to me, because that just makes a joke out of everything he's ever said and done, and since he left Ring of Honor in 2005. I mean, let's be real.
It would be a joke. I wouldn't take him serious at all if he went there.
But and then here's kind of like my next thought on the CM Punk thing. It just seems kind of, I don't want to say it because I'm not 100% sure, and this is just another thing on this show where it's like, I don't know if it's a work or a shoot at this point. A lot of people think that it's like, all right, well, it just seems like they're getting ready to fire Punk, and I'm thinking to myself, if everybody smoothed it over and they're all ready to make money, why wouldn't you make it seem like Punk is fired? I mean, the dude's out for 9 months.
Remember the main point that I was making when this all went down is I said, if all of these guys can't come together and make money off of this, they don't deserve to be in the industry. So right. I'm still sticking to that. I think that they're putting out a storyline now. This whole buying out the contract thing and all that stuff. I think one day when we least expect it, Punk just walks through and we're all going to be like, holy shit. And he may get booed, you know what I mean? But that may be what they're looking for, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do think that. Because we've been agreeing about this. I've been saying the same thing. I mean, if you got to be able to make money about this. That's what the Bucks and Kenny are doing right now. This segment with them getting wiped away, that's clearly them making money off of this drama. I'm sure the Bucks and Kenny, to an extent, do feel that way, where it's like, oh, you thought you could wipe us away? We're literally one of the letters in the company's logo.
I want to know who came up with that, because that was so sick. The Thanos thing where they just kind of like drifted off. So good.
Yeah, it was really well done. But so, I mean, yeah, that's generally the Punk story. My thoughts on the Punk story, kind of just to wrap it up, is I think it's really odd that this stuff comes out now.
Yeah.
Like, like the whole situation gets cleared up and the Elite are returning to work, because PW Insider did confirm that they were all there tonight backstage. It just seems kind of really weird. I also find it very ironic that this source was Nick Houseman, who was the reporter that CM Punk blew up on at the media scrum.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's the same guy. So like that even starts to get the brain turning even more. Like, is this dude like just in on this?
There's
like,
no way that's an accident.
Right, like, so you mean to tell me that CM Punk sits down, does his media scrum, blows up on Nick Houseman, who didn't even ask a question. He just blows up on Nick Houseman about Colt Cabana. And now Nick Houseman, like, is the one out of all of the wrestling guys. Not Fightful, not The Observer, not anyone from there, not anyone from Body Slam, like, not PW Insider, no. Nick Houseman, the same guy, is the one that reaches out to him. Like, I don't know. That just seems kind of weird. I also think it's kind of weird, if it's a shoot, I think it's extremely weird on CM Punk's part to be upset that his dog got hit by the door. Like, coming from somebody who has pets who do like to stand by doors, shit happens. Like, I mean, like, we've never like bashed our cats in the head or anything, but it's like, like, I don't know. Like, if the dog is standing here and you open the door and the dog gets hit, are you really going to start swinging at people over that? I don't know. That just seems really extreme to me.
Well,
That'd be one thing
You got to think
Sorry.
though, a dog like Larry, they're a little bit different. A dog like Larry is like old and frail. I bet you he was like R. You know what I mean? And to have to get 2 teeth removed for a dog, like they got to get hit pretty decently hard. Like dogs' teeth are, designed to be pretty tough.
I guess, and I'm not completely like taking away the fact that that happened, and that's something like obviously you should be concerned about your animal and your pet, and you should defend it and everything like that. It just seems like in my head, me picturing this scenario, like because again, we've completely at this point resolved that the Elite did not kick the door in. They probably knocked on the door,
Yeah.
opened the door, and the dog might have been there, and the dog might have gotten bumped. Like, I just don't see how like that responds with Ace Steel being like, "I'm gonna fucking bite Kenny Omega." Like,
Well,
I'm sorry, I just
so
don't.
I'm almost certain now after we got all the the stories have all come out and kind of sort of it seems like they're treating them as 2 separate incidents. The Ace Steel and Kenny thing, they're kind of separating that from the original incident. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's the way it feels anyway.
Maybe. I don't know. At the end of the day, I think that in general, I could be wrong. I do think we see CM Punk again once he's healed up.
Me
I
too.
don't think this is the last that we've seen of him.
No.
Obviously, we're going to see the Elite very soon. Maybe next week. I hope not next week because next week's going to be a very conflicting week for me, considering that could be, if it's a sweep, that could be the night that the Phillies win the World Series. And Jeff, I don't want to lie to you. I don't know if I'm going to be available that night.
Okay, man.
I can't promise anything. So I'm hoping that next week isn't that crazy because it would probably me watching it after I'm celebrating Frankfurt and Common. I'll probably come back home at like 1 a.m. and watch Dynamite. But we'll see how the World Series plays out. I don't know. I don't want to make any commitments.
So I got to be honest with you. I might be down there myself, and might be doing some like celebration stream from the phone. We'll see.
I was thinking the same thing. We'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe we'll go down there.
I'll go down to the old cricket and see if they got a hot spot for me.
No. Don't worry. I can handle that. I can do all this.
All right, so let's get back on track here. So after that Elite video package that was absolutely amazing, whoever made that, kudos, because that was 10 out of 10. We had a Jericho Appreciation Society backstage segment with Tony Schiavone, and it was the entire Jericho Appreciation Society. And Jericho was saying that the win was illegitimate because there was a baseball bat in the ring. And Tony Schiavone, just like me, screamed out at him, "But you brought the bat into the ring." And he said, "It doesn't matter. It means that the pin should have never happened." Now, I've never heard this rule before. Have you ever heard this before?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't heard it, period, because there were some audio issues. Were there audio issues on your end?
So there was a little bit throughout the night, but I was able to hear everything on that part.
Well, no, so I'm talking that promo specifically.
So yes. There were very bad audio issues on that promo, but I was able to hear anything because I had my volume like way up.
Oh wow, that's surprising because for me it was a lot of cut in and cut out. So I unfortunately I caught the gist of it, but I didn't hear all of that.
Yeah. He basically said because
hear...
the baseball bat was in the ring while the pin took place that it was an illegitimate pin and that they never should have counted it.
Jericho's such a good heel.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. The part I did hear was Jericho talking about how he'll face any Ring of Honor champion, not just the world champion, but like the tag champion and the women's champion. And I'm like, are you? I was like, Chris, are you setting up for a Maria Kanellis Chris Jericho match? Like, is that
that would be awesome.
That was hilarious. I was dying when he said that. And basically, he issues an open challenge to any former Ring of Honor champion. Now, the promo makes it seem like it will be it could be anybody like a tag champion or anything like that. But later in the night, they confirm that it will be against a former Ring of Honor world champion. And we'll talk about it.
Okay. All right. Next up, we had the number 1 contenders match for the AEW Tag Team Championships. Swerve in Our Glory, Swerve and Keith Lee versus FTR. Let's go, baby. And right away, as FTR are coming out, or I'm sorry, as Swerve and them are coming out, we get to see the Ass Boys dressed like FTR. So I don't want to say I knew the outcome of the match, but I definitely had an idea that, you know, what was going to happen there. I do love the Gun Club dressing up like FTR each week. It's pretty good. I actually really enjoy that. Not sure why they're doing it, but I don't really think we need a reason why. I think it's just funny and it works.
Well, they're about to feud with FTR for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships.
Well, I get that. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, they're just fucking with FTR.
Yeah. So after their entrances, we get the Acclaimed come out, and they bring out some chairs, and they sit at the top of the entrance ramp so that they can watch the match from afar. I was actually wishing that Bowens and Caster would have gotten on commentary here. Even Daddy Ass, if they could have fit all three of them on commentary, that would have been hilarious. But alas, we did not get that.
I don't think that was needed. I think that the Acclaimed, I think it was the best choice to let the action in the ring speak for itself instead of putting a wrestler or wrestlers on the commentary. Because this match was phenomenal. This was an excellent fucking match. My big takeaways, I have two big takeaways from this segment in general, is number one, the fact that we have, you know, Swerve in Our Glory with, you know, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, FTR, you know, all these, you know, these guys in the ring. And the biggest pop is the Acclaimed. That is one, and that needs to be noted because throughout this year, we've had people calling it the FTR pop. And I don't want to take anything away from FTR. I think FTR is great. But, like, it can't be said enough that these homegrown guys have come in and gotten themselves to the point where they are so over that, like, again, you have Keith Lee, Swerve Strickland, FTR, all in the ring, having a banger, and the crowd wants to chant, "Oh, Scissor Me Daddy."
Yeah, I was shocked at that. I was like, man, the crowd, you know, you guys see who's in the ring right now? But yeah, it was pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal. And then my other big takeaway from this match was just how, and I said it earlier, how fucking stacked this tag team division is. Like, I don't even like Jeff, help me out here. Like, you have in WWE, right? There's the Usos. Like, who's after the Usos?
After the Usos, I would say right now is going to be the Street Profits.
Okay, and after that, what's going? Like, I don't know. Like,
maybe Alpha Academy, maybe.
Like, even when I was a fan of the product, like I can't sit here and be like, man, look at all these great tag teams that were in that company. Like, but like it's fucking insane. Just this tag team division alongside, you know, I'm gonna make a point later about the women's division. Like, holy shit! Like, this match was fucking incredible.
That's a good point. I'm trying to think of some more tag teams they have that aren't just guys like thrown together.
Not even about being thrown together, because we've seen with Swerve in Our Glory, you could throw a team together. It's what you do with the team afterwards that matters. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, I think I look at it and I'm just like, I don't know what, you name a company, and not just you, I'm just saying in general, name a company that has a better tag team division than AEW. Like, no and be realistic. Like, I can't.
I mean, I got to be fair. I have not been watching New Japan for the past few weeks or months. I know they have a strong division, so I'm sure that they can say that they're competing, but, you know, I agree with you. AEW's tag division is amazing.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, it's just incredible. And this match was, you know, just a standout. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. This match kicked all kinds of ass. You know, and having the Ass Boys in the audience, I think, added to the match because they didn't do very much. They just kind of showed facial reactions a couple of times during the match. They didn't really get involved much until the very end, of course. But, you know, we just had an absolute banger here. I don't know if you saw the sign, but this was the first time I noticed it. Was right when this match was starting. Somebody was holding up a sign that said "Casual Riho Enjoyer." Really liked that sign. You know, good job on that sign.
Later on the night, that was really good. Really good sign.
So, you know, we had a bunch of hot tags in this match. There was a really good hot tag to Keith Lee. He hits a huge, I don't even know what they call this thing, but he hits a power bomb, but he throws the guy into Swerve's arms so that he can power bomb him. That thing was wild, man. You ever seen that before?
Yeah, I feel like they've done that before.
Here, I gotta let my dogs out. Continue this one for me.
Yeah, no worries. One of my favorite spots of this match, and it's just Keith Lee continues to just blow me away because I Keith Lee jumping over FTR, leapfrogging over FTR, not one of them, but both of them. That kind of blew my mind. Just like there's no way this guy should be able to move this way. He's a big dude, and he just it blows me away. Um, but so yeah, this was an excellent back and forth match. I think that tonight the in ring action was. I believe there was 5 matches. I think there were 5 for 5 tonight. It was really good. Swerve and Our Glory ends up winning and becoming the #1 contenders for the World Tag Team Championships. Swerve hits, I believe it was Dax with a low blow, which the
Yeah.
referee and Keith Lee, neither of them saw. And Keith Lee ends up hitting his finisher, and 1, 2, 3, and we have #1 contenders for Full Gear.
Yo, that's a good point you just made that I actually didn't even notice that Keith Lee didn't see the low blow either. Oh, man.
Yeah, we have this dynamic that, as you know,
Nice catch.
Swerve Strickland fucking turned heel at the last pay-per-view. I don't know who saw it coming, but man, oh boy. But yeah, I think this is a great dynamic, and I don't know if you need to break this tag team up. I know that we're all expecting it to, and it probably will. But I think that this is such a unique dynamic that it could totally work. Where you have Swerve's like good cop, bad cop kind of vibes, where it's like Swerve's going to do whatever it takes to win. He's a bad guy, and he's going to cheat. He's going to do whatever it takes. Keith Lee, he's a respectable fellow. He's going to be like, he's a gentleman. He's like, Swerve, you are my brother, but we're going to do things the right way, indubitably. And and I think that could be a really cool thing to do. I don't know if they're going to go that route. They're probably going to break up, but they'll probably break up at Full Gear. I think Swerve turns on Keith Lee after the Acclaimed win at Full Gear, but it's fun to look at it.
All right. So yeah, good job catching that there. I did not catch that Keith Lee didn't see that low blow, so that's a really good point there.
Yeah, he hasn't seen any of the cheating that Swerve has done.
Oh man, I wonder if anybody's like compiling it into a video to show him one day. But I have a feeling that Keith Lee might join the dark side there with Swerve because he would make a really really good heel. So I'm in with whatever they do there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm so excited. I mean, Swerve on a singles run as this fucking badass heel, like it's gonna be so good. Jeff. Speaking of Swerve, I know that you used to be a fan of JD. You might still be. I don't know. You might be a closet JD guy.
Not much. No.
Did you see the interaction between Swerve Strickland and JD?
No.
Okay, so we talk about Fed Twitter and how fucking awful it is. So Britt Baker did an appearance on Swerve's podcast this past week, and during the show, they talk about Britt talks about Thunder Rosa, and kind of touches on how her and Thunder Rosa, they don't really get along, but you know what? That makes money, and they like to make money, so they work together. And you know what? The product's better for it. Britt kind of compares her and Thunder Rosa to Batman and the Joker, which I really love that comparison for them, where it's like they kind of need each other for the dynamic to work. And I think that's really true. And just so basically, long story short, it's not a bad line. The line's very like, hey, we don't really get along, but we work together because we make money together, as you should. You don't need to like everybody that you work with. So, Fed Twitter took this as, oh, more AEW backstage drama. All the wrestlers, they hate each other. The Wands of the world are just like, oh my God, Papa H, I love you. And it's just like JD was one of those guys. He said something on Twitter, and it kind of like, I don't follow JD anymore because he's a clout chaser. But like it ended up on my feed where like people were talking about his comment where he was just like, oh, more problems in AEW, like this shit needs to stop, it's so unprofessional. And Swerve quote tweeted it and said like, bro, subscribe. Like he's like, and then like later on he was like, here's the full clip for context. And it's like, it's so taken out of context.
Yeah.
Like the way that like JD and like the Fed fans were reacting was like, you would think that Britt Baker went on this podcast and was like, I fucking hate Thunder Rosa. Fuck Thunder Rosa. Like,
Yeah.
no. And it's just laughable to me. But I saw JD get kind of Swerve was like, bro, you should probably follow and watch the video, watch the whole video and subscribe. And JD was like, well, way ahead of you, man, or something like that. I was like, what a clown.
Yeah, and then I saw him apologize after. He's like, sometimes I don't realize how far my tweets reach. And it's like, that's code word for I got bitch slapped by somebody that fucking didn't like my tweet that was actually involved in the situation.
Yeah, JD's got this really weird fucking fetish for Triple H. It's really creepy. Like, look, here's the thing, right? Like, we talked about it. Disclaimer: when I was growing up, huge Triple H fan, love the guy. But like, I don't know how you're sitting here in 2022 and you're calling this man Papa. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't want to judge, but like, I just think it's kind of fucking weird. I think that the obsession over this guy who hasn't really made the product that much better. It's still like the general consensus that I saw on Twitter this past week on Monday night from people who even watch WWE and not in an unironic way.
Yeah.
They were just like, yeah, this felt like a Vince McMahon show.
It did. I heard a lot of people say it felt like a Vince show.
And I'm just like, well, I mean, there you go. I mean, he had a good summer where he brought some of his kids back, and his kids have this weird daddy thing with him, and I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, good for them, I guess. I mean, all right. I mean, I read what Johnny Gargano's doing on Raw, and I'm just like, that's what you have Johnny fucking Gargano doing? You have him?
That's really weird.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really care, but it's just like, it is really fucking weird to me. But anyways, yeah, Britt Baker.
Speaking of Britt Baker, the next segment we had up here was Saraya with Renee Paquette backstage. And, I thought Saraya looked really good here. This is probably the best I think she has looked since she has come back. This is my favorite look for her with the really dark black eyeshadow and punk rock jacket and stuff. So really nice to see, Saraya in her kind of old school look, I guess I would say. But right away, Britt Baker shows up, and this was like a 20-second segment, and it was just out of nowhere, like just two chicks screaming and yelling at each other, and I was kind of just like, you know what I mean? It kind of missed me a little bit here. Renee Paquette put it back on track, being like, shut up. She's like, if you want to do this, let's do it right, and I guess they're gonna have a sit down talk. Was this gonna be on Rampage, or is this on Dynamite next week?
It's gonna be on Dynamite next week, and I think again, I think you kind of have the right idea where the point of it is it broke down, so that's going to lead to the sit down next week.
Yeah, and I think it was showing Renee can kind of take charge of an interview and not just let it devolve into madness like everyone else.
Well, so I'll say this, right? Because it might as well now, because there were multiple times tonight where I wanted to talk about it. I think it was Renee Paquette is so good.
She is the best acquisition of 2022.
Don't say that to Swerve. Everything that she did tonight, like, she just made every segment better, and that's not easy for an interviewer to do. And it is worth mentioning that she fucking killed it tonight, and
yeah, she
just has that certain vibe to her where it's like it's very legitimate and serious, but it's also fun, and I don't know, just really well done. Like Renee Paquette is a great signing by AEW.
And to add to what you said, her adding to the segment, that's actually not her job as the announcer. She's just there to say a few words, and then the wrestlers are supposed to do their thing. And it just naturally makes it better. It's not even anything she has to do on purpose. It's just natural. That's the best part about it.
Well, I think that's what that's the thing, but though that's what great announcers do. And I think that there's a select few in the history of the business, that I think of, like you think about guys like, Mean Gene Okerlund. You think about Tony Schiavone, like Renee Paquette, it's not just having Kathy Kelly shove a microphone in somebody's face. Like, is it their job to make the segment better? No, it's their job to make the segment cohesive. You know what I mean? Like, the talent has the promo, the talent has the words. It's the interviewer's job in this, in wrestling, we're talking about like in the actual shoot, like the work, I guess. like it's the interviewer's job to keep it on the rails. Like, okay, like these are where our bullet points. Let's do this. Let the wrestler say what they need to say. But I think it's having Renee kind of, and again, these really great, these great announcers, great interviewers, being able to put their own little spice into it. It just makes it special.
Yeah.
It's great.
All right, and speaking of Renee Paquette, man, they helped us with all these segues here tonight. Actually, we had
seriously.
an MJF segment with Renee Paquette on the top of the ramp, and man, MJF in this segment here cut another absolutely amazing fucking promo, and this one was so damn funny. I was laughing for a good 30 seconds straight. He was pretending like he was John Moxley walking around like, and he's like, I'm going to gargle your piss. That shit, dude, I was laughing so hard, dude. It was so good. So good.
Yeah, I also really love the with all due respect line. He says something about Mox. He's like, with all due respect, Mox. And then he says, and Renee says, you can't just say with all due respect and then go and shit on someone. And he's like, Renee, with all due respect, shut up.
Yeah.
Um,
This dude's a genius, man. He is an absolute genius. I love this guy.
so this segment and tonight in general, like I'm just consistently blown away with MJF in a sense that like this guy has you going through the range of emotions, and it seems almost like it's just fucking easy. Like it's so easy for him. He comes out there, he's making people laugh, he's making people cheer, makes people boo. You know what I mean? Like that's how you know that you have something there.
Yep.
And like this mystique where like, is he a babyface? Is he a heel? And we're gonna talk about it later towards the end of the show because I have thoughts and not really sure. But like 97 Stone Cold, was he a face or a heel? Don't know. Like guys like that are on these runs, like it doesn't happen very often, and it's I don't want to buy into the gimmick, but it's not a gimmick. He says he's a generational superstar or generational talent, and he really is, because it's just he goes from that and then he gets super heel. He's being all funny, making fun of Mox and talking about gargling piss and all that stuff, and then he gets right into it. He just starts staring at the camera, and like it's like the bags in his eyes just appear out of nowhere, and he's like, all I need is a grudge, I took all my grudges and I've fucking mashed them into this chip, and I put the chip on my shoulder, and that's what keeps me going. And it's like, fuck, man. I'm just sitting there like afterwards, like I'm having a blast watching MJF's promo, right? I'm like entertained, I'm laughing, I'm like digging it, and then all of a sudden it's just like it gets fucking serious, and I'm just sitting there like, fuck, man, this guy is really good. Like he's excellent. He's fucking excellent, and he's only 26.
It's crazy. I can't imagine this dude when he's in his 30s. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, I can't even, like, I don't even know if this is his prime. I really don't know. But so we get after all that, Stokely Hathaway interrupts, and he basically MJF gets mad at him. He says, I want Mox 100%. He's saying that I can't beat him. Regal's saying that I can't beat him without using the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Well, I'm not going to beat him with that. I'm going to beat him on my own because I can, and I'm going to beat him at I want him at 100%. And he tells Stokely, like, don't touch him. Leave him alone. Don't even look at him. If you fuck with Moxley, I'm going to fire you.
Yeah, that was wild that that Stokely came out and interrupted him. I thought MJF was going to beat his ass right there, but he kind of said, since we go so far back, I'm going to give you a pass. And I wrote down at the end of this, I put very babyface promo ? From MJF. It felt babyface, but he still kept calling himself the devil, so he's not necessarily babyface. I love when a character can ride the line like this. It makes it fun, makes it really fun.
Yeah. Obviously we do see MJF later tonight at the end of the show, and we'll get into it a little bit more at that point.
Yeah. All right, next up, we had a quick video package for Matt Taven versus Wardlow. It is what it is. Matt Taven, I haven't seen too much of his work, a little bit in Impact, but apparently he's a Ring of Honor Grand Slam champion. He has been, all of the major championships in Ring of Honor, so that's pretty cool.
I don't want to come off as mean because I also have not seen much of Matt Taven's work. But watching him in this promo, like, and this is strictly based off of look. And when I say it, maybe you'll laugh, maybe you won't, but I found it funny in my head. Like, with the hair and just kind of his look, I kind of almost wanted to call him Diet Kenny Omega.
I was gonna say like he looks like a Matt Sydal clone. I was like, oh, is that my Matt Sydal's brother?
Maybe it was the hair. It was kind of his hair. His hair
Yeah.
had kind of like any look to it. Again, I'm just, it was a funny thing that I thought when I saw him. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I feel like there was a mixed bag on Twitter. Like the reaction to the Kingdom being in AEW / Ring of Honor, it seemed like a mixed bag. I don't really know much about Matt Taven. Some people seem to call him mid. Some people were excited to see him. I don't know. I'll let him, show what he's
I was
got.
gonna say we'll find out. Yeah. All right. Next up, we had Sammy Guevara versus Bryan Danielson. Now, I got to ask, man, Sammy Guevara's entrance, did you notice like the Dragon Ball Z type stuff that was going on the screen? Like, I'm not sure I've seen that before. Has that always been there? Apparently, it has.
Hey, don't Jeff.
Doing excellent.
Jeff, I try to let things go. I know you're getting a little bit older, and I know that sometimes you miss things, and we all get there one day. But I mean, Sammy Guevara has been using this since Grand Slam. It was literally debuted at Grand Slam, and we actually talked about it here on the show.
The memory's not what it used to be. What can I say?
And they say the mind is the first thing that goes, and boy, oh boy, is it true.
I mean, he doesn't often get his own entrance, does he? Doesn't he usually come out to some Jericho's Appreciation Society crap?
Well, he did. He came out with that tonight as well.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like he always comes out with Jericho, though. I don't know. I guess I just haven't seen it in a while.
I guess. I don't know. I feel like we definitely at least touched on it at the Grand Slam.
We probably did. We
definitely did, because I remember it very clearly. Like, oh, that's really cool. It's a DBZ inspired thing. And
I mean, this is episode 84. It is hard to remember everything,
Yeah, I don't know. Another thing I forgot to mention. It was really minor, but I thought it was great. So during the Bryan Danielson promo, way earlier in the show, at the beginning of the show, Danielson's talking about Sammy, and he's saying, like, I don't have any issues with Sammy, just his stupid vlog.
Yeah.
And Bryan Danielson has actually gone on record, like, not just there, but like like, he does not like the vlogs.
No,
he does not. He doesn't like the wrestlers doing the vlogs, and he doesn't have an issue with Sammy, but he thinks that Sammy's vlog is incredibly stupid.
Yeah, I've tried to watch it, and I think it's pretty stupid as well.
Yeah, well, my biggest issue with Sammy. So here's the thing, right? I used to really enjoy Sammy's vlog, but the problem is that like Sammy's vlog isn't what it used to be. It used to be about Sammy and like his guys, kind of like what BT was. Like It was Sammy and his guys all having fun at the shows. But the problem was that like, well, they didn't re-sign Marco. Fuego's never there. Griff Garrison, who the fuck is Griff Garrison? You know what I mean? And it's like Sammy's vlog is now Sammy and Ty, which like if you find it irritating on TV, the last thing you're gonna do is watch their vlog with just 20 minutes of them doing what they're doing, all that stuff anyway.
Yeah.
And like I've watched a few of them recently because they do and something else I don't like. Sammy uses very clickbaity titles. Like when the Andrade thing happened, he capitalized on it by making it seem like he was going to really talk about it on the vlog. So I watched it, and then I left a dislike because I don't like being clickbaited. But it's just it's not very good. It's just, and I really don't dislike them. And obviously, like, be married, be happy, cool, whatever. But it's not an enjoyable vlog anymore at all. It used to be.
Big T. But at least Sammy can still have great matches, because this was a absolutely fantastic match with Bryan Danielson here. They both started out at 100 miles an hour, just beating the daylights out of each other. Danielson puts Guevara into that surfboard stretch thing that I love he does, man, where he steps on your thighs and flips you up. Oh, that thing is nasty. Sammy did a huge moonsault off the top ropes to the outside, man. How high up do you think he was? That had to be like 15 feet.
Man, I really don't know, to be honest.
And he just lands on his feet like it's freaking nothing. He's just like, oh yeah, I'm cool. That's wild.
You know, Jeff, so I'm gonna give you a free one because you're probably gonna be like, Rome, it's always been that way, right? So I'm looking at my screen right now and I'm looking at your background and I see like the AEW, like the figure, like the ring entrance, you know what I mean? Like the tunnels and everything.
Yeah.
Have those lights that are around it that change color been there?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just sitting here, I'm like, what's changing color in his background? I'm like, wait, but like I swear to God, I've never seen that.
So the only difference, okay, those have been there since the first time that's been up, but the only difference is this new camera makes those colors flash instead of just
Okay.
smoothly change.
Okay, because it caught my eye and I'm like, what? Wait, like,
So
because I
yeah,
knew
they're
the
kind of flashing on certain colors. That's not what's actually happening to the naked eye. For some reason, this camera catches them flashing.
Okay, because like I've known that the stage is there. I know.
Yeah.
Thanks. Betsy. I knew that the stage was there, but like I'm looking at the lights and I'm like, have those lights always been flashing like that?
No,
But okay.
they didn't flash. They're supposed to smoothly change color, and it's weird. The camera has better high definition, but I guess it's the frame rate. Maybe I don't know.
Okay, well if it's the camera's fault, then no, Big T. Old Man Rome does not. That doesn't qualify. It's a video trick on his new camera. That's not the same thing.
Uh,
But
all
okay.
right,
Anyway,
so another move Sammy hit close to my heart. It's one of my favorite moves in all of wrestling, the Spanish Fly. He hit that from the top rope. Him and Danielson did that like 10 out of 10. Big Poison Rana from Bryan Danielson, Busaiku knee, a bunch of face stomps. Danielson puts Sammy Guevara into the triangle choke and starts smashing him with the elbows. And Bryce Remsburg calls it KO. Danielson wins via knockout or submission, however you want to look at it. I think you would say knockout there, right?
yeah, it's a knockout.
Yeah. That was an emphatic win. I was expecting it to be a little more hard fought on Danielson's end. They kind of let Sammy get his stuff in there, like I said, with the big moonsault and the big Spanish Fly. But man, that was a brutal finish for Sammy.
Yeah, man. Again, like the in-ring action tonight was so good. I was watching this match, and I was like, man, this feels like not in term like I don't know. I don't want to say not even in terms of the card itself, but like these felt like pay-per-view quality matches. I really do think they only did 5 matches tonight. With
Yeah.
hold on, I want to count real quick.
That's why I said quality over quantity earlier. I believe it was only 5 or 6.
Two. Sorry, give me a second.
I think it
3,
was 5.
4, 5. They did 5 matches tonight,
Yeah.
which is one less than they usually do. And like it was a really good show. Man, these matches were incredible. And I think Danielson Guevara just fucking killed it. And I always get so frustrated with Sammy because Sammy is such a problem. He's such a problem in a lot of ways. And like he likes the drama. He's a very toxic person. He comes off, at least to me as a fan, as a very toxic person who just always finds himself in these fucking problems. And but my God, he's so talented in the ring.
He is. That's what I said. At least he still puts on such good matches.
And I kind of want to just give him the benefit of the doubt and just be like, hey man, he's still young. I think he's like what, 25? I think he's like MJF's age. Like when he's a little bit older, like when he like matures a little bit, and he's like in his 30s.
Yeah.
Like the dude's gonna be fucking killing it.
Absolutely. All right. So yeah, Danielson wins via KO. Was not expecting the KO thing there. Do you think nobody came out to help Sammy? The only one that was there was Ty Conti, right?
Ty Mello, yes.
Ty Mello. I'm wondering if they're gonna kind of take a route of Sammy start to get a little annoyed that Garcia's getting all the attention from Jericho.
I don't think so. Mainly for the reason that I can't see Sammy Guevara working as a face right now. They tried it. They tried it in. Like that's the thing. Like I think we all forget, but like Sammy Guevara was kind of gearing up for this big babyface run at the end of last year, beginning of this year. Like he beat Cody in that ladder match, and we thought like, man, here we go. Sammy Guevara is going to get his TNT babyface champion title run, and it falls flat on his face because again, Sammy just gets caught up in drama, and people just don't want to like Sammy Guevara. Not because of his in-ring stuff, but they just don't want to like the guy, the character. Whether it's the guy or the character, I don't know. Maybe he does it because he knows it gets views and clicks. He doesn't seem like a dummy. And I really don't think he's that stupid. I just think he's a little hot-headed. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see Sammy Guevara leaving the JAS.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Makes sense. All right, next up we had Ray Fenix and Alex Abrahantes with Renee Paquette backstage. Fenix was saying that he kind of wants to go after the All Atlantic Championship, and Christian shows up with Luchasaurus saying, "Oh no, we're the next in line," because you remember what I said last week. We're going after everybody with gold. And who would show up but Mr. Cassidy himself? And he says, "You talk about me? You talk about this?" And he holds up the belt. He says, "Let's do it." Now, was there a version of this with Tony Khan in it like there was the last one?
To my knowledge, no.
Oh man, that would have been so good.
We're gonna go for the hat trick here, the three-peat. How you doing, Jeff?
I am doing excellent.
This is the fucking Orange Cassidy that I've been fucking talking about for fucking ever. When you were like, I don't get it. I don't get this guy. What's going on? Why is he doing Jane? No. This is fucking incredible. This guy is showing up, picking fights with two guys at a time, and then he's going to go out and have a fucking banger. If this is Orange Cassidy's fucking title reign, right? If this is it, like every week, there's two guys, and they have beef. And he shows up and he's like, I'm going to fight the two of you for this. And he does a three-way dance every Friday, and that's his character, or that's his title reign. That's it. Like I loved it. I absolutely fucking love this, and like the matches that are going to be a result of this, fucking incredible. And it's great. Like, and it's not like admit it, Jeff. This is not what you expected from Orange Cassidy. Him just like getting in between two guys and being like, "I'll take you both on."
No, I didn't expect that at all. It's awesome.
But like, this is what I saw. This is what I knew was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to see this guy. He did this thing, this interview, and they were like, "What does it mean to you to be All Atlantic Champion?" And he's like, "It basically means I'm king of the Atlantic Ocean." And I don't know. Yeah. Again, this is I'm an Orange Cassidy mark, and I'm gonna continue to be an Orange Cassidy mark. This dude is, god damn it, this guy is what you want from a wrestler.
Yeah,
Like,
he's great.
He's not a gimmick. His matches are incredible. He's memorable on the microphone, for better or worse. Like his merch he's a top merch seller. I mean, obviously booking comes into account too, but like what he's doing with the All Atlantic Championship with these three-way matches is just fucking incredible. And if this match is, and it's such a cool fucking matchup too. Like it was the same thing as last week where we had like Orange Cassidy, 10, and Roosh. It's like, what? Okay, that sounds really cool. And then here we are this week again. Like the matchup is kind of like it almost comes across to me as a matchup that we would get in the video game, where it's like, you're just playing with your friends, like, oh, let's do a three-way dance. Like, oh, okay, I'll be Orange Cassidy, I'll be Ray Fenix, I'll be Luchasaurus. Like the dynamic is so fucking cool. It's great, love it.
All right. So next up, we had Jamie Hayter with Rebel and Britt Baker, DMD, versus Riho. And as soon as I saw Riho, I was like, "Hey, Kenny must be back." So, that's awesome. But dude, this was a decent match. I have to admit, I was expecting it to be a little bit better, but Riho had a little bit of rust to knock off there. It looked like a little bit of ring rust, but once they got going, man, this turned into a really good match. A lot of back and forth between Riho and Jamie. There was a really wicked looking suplex where Jamie picked her up for like a normal suplex, but then like twisted it into, it was almost like a Goldberg jackknife power slam, but it kind of wasn't. It was a little more twisty. That thing was wild.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with you actually a little bit. I thought this match was I was really into this. I really loved this match. I thought it was excellent, and the women's division, much like the tag team division. Like, look, I understand that people like some of the talent that WWE has in terms of its women's division, but I feel very strongly that week in and week out, this women's division is firing on all cylinders, and it is the best women's division. I don't want to say that because in Japan there's really strong women's wrestling, but in America, it is the best women's wrestling in North America.
Yeah,
I
for
will say
sure.
that. Maybe part of that is because Mercedes isn't there right now. Maybe Mercedes goes back to WWE. I don't know. Who knows? I think she's doing a show for USA, so she's probably going back there. But again, it doesn't. I don't know, man. I just don't know. I mean, there was a funny thing that happened on the Discord on Monday night where Big T and I were talking, and we were like speculating, like, oh, somebody's gonna come back in the main event, which was Bailey and Bianca Belair, and I'm on Twitter, and I'm like, oh, I'll keep an eye on it on Twitter and see what happens. Big T's like, oh, I think Charlotte comes back tonight, or maybe even Sasha comes back, and it ends up fucking being Nikki Cross. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
okay.
In all fairness, it's in the version of her that everybody's been asking for like 2 fucking years, but we'll
It's
see.
never really. I've never been super high on Nikki Cross. I mean, I think her best work was in NXT, sure.
Yeah.
Um,
And that was
but
the character there, the Sanity character where she's all crazy.
yeah, but even that was kind of like, I don't know. I wasn't really super into that either. I think it was I don't know. It just didn't work.
No, yeah, I'm
Just didn't
just,
really work for me. I feel like there was a lot of directions she could have went in that would have made it interesting, but instead it was just kind of like it didn't go in any of those directions. It kind of just
you know,
it was what it was, and it didn't want to be anything more or move further. It didn't want to elevate or evolve, Jeff, if you
yeah,
will.
she did look good, Big T. I definitely agree with you on that one.
Or yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, just I'm not related. Anyway,
Yeah.
women's division AEW is just on fire. Like this Jamie Hayter Riho match, fucking incredible. You got Jamie Hayter about to be the women's champion, interim world women's champion. At least I think. I think we're gonna get Jamie versus Tony Storm at Full Gear, and I
I
think Jamie
mean,
Hayter.
I think that was the idea since Jamie Hayter won this match. She hits a big ripcord lariat onto Riho for the win. And immediately Tony Storm comes out and she goes and stands on the top of the ramp and holds up that belt. Looking absolutely incredible, by the way. Yeah, so I do believe you're right. I think we're getting Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm for the AEW Women's Championship at Full Gear. That'll be sweet.
Yeah, Big T and I were talking about it in the Discord again on Monday, and I think, or maybe it was yesterday. I don't recall. Being unemployed kind of does that to you. The days just fucking blend together. Um, but Big T and I were talking on the Discord, and it was he was like, oh well, who's gonna beat Thunder Rosa and this and the third, and I told him I think that um, Jamie Hayter at Full Gear beats Tony Storm, and then I think that Jamie Hayter and Britt are going to feud for the title. That'll be the official babyface. And then when Thunder Rosa comes back, I would have Thunder Rosa come back as a heel and try to face Jamie Hayter. And then, that's what they do. And I think Jamie Hayter beats Thunder Rosa.
Huh. I actually I like all of that. The only thing I would do different is probably going to be a bad take, but I'd tell Thunder Rosa to go F herself right now. Be like,
Why?
you're stripped, kick rocks.
Why? Why, Jeff? Let's get into this.
I'm going to be honest. I have not enjoyed her conduct over the past year. I'm starting to agree with the whole sandbagging thing. I've watched back a few matches from in the past. I don't know. Something about Thunder Rosa has just rubbed me the wrong way over the past couple of months. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I think it's just a culmination of a few things coming together. And I'm just I can't say that she's ever impressed me enough in the ring that I should care. That's where I'm at.
You flip-flop Jeff strikes again. I remember us sitting here after that cage match on St. Patrick's Day Slam. Again, I know that your memory might not serve you very well, but I remember the nice things you said about Thunder Rosa and stuff like that. Look, I understand, and I'm not saying that Thunder Rosa is I'm not saying that Thunder Rosa isn't cleared of these things. Do I think she's sandbagging a little bit? Yeah. Do I think she might have gotten a little complacent? Yeah. Do I think that she might have some issues with people backstage at this point? Fucking like what? Like
Yeah.
okay, like what else is new? The sky's falling, but
No,
guess what?
yeah.
AEW is still killing it. At the end of the day, like I think that the takes about like fuck Thunder Rosa, or I'm like, even what T is saying, like I'm turned off by her. I think that that's just really extreme. I just think that that's just not like
I
I
think actually
remember.
me saying F her, I think that is too far. But I am right there with Big T where something about her right now just completely turned me off to her. And yeah, and Big T, I agree. That cage match was fantastic, but was that mainly her fault that it was fantastic, or was it Brit's? You know what I mean? Like I could go either way on it, but something about the way things have gone down over these past few months, something has completely turned me off to her. And it's like I'm wondering if maybe I just enjoyed the face paint and all that, the brand new star out of nowhere, the way she came kind of out of nowhere for me. I can't put my finger on it, but something has made me not enjoy her anymore. I don't know what it is.
I would say it was probably the poor booking of her world title reign.
I mean, you could call it poor booking because I've heard Juan say that as well. But I think in Tony's defense, Thunder purposely put on some shitty matches. You know what I mean? So
I don't mean in terms of the match quality. So I mean, again, I don't think that it was completely dreadful, but I mean, she went 3 weeks without getting meaningful TV time as the women's world champion. Now, granted, I mean, Tony Khan made a mistake there, and yeah, I think he's doing a fantastic job with Tony Storm, and I think he's doing an excellent job with the women's division moving forward. I mean, really, since Thunder Rosa went down, he kind of, I think Tony Khan. The great thing about him is that he looks at the criticism, and he understands that, and so what has he done since he saw that criticism? He's made the women's division a priority. It gets time every week, both on Dynamite and Rampage and Dark and Elevation, because those shows do matter whether you want to admit it or not.
mhm.
And it's just I don't know. I like Thunder Rosa. Do I love Thunder Rosa? No. But I mean, I think that she's done some excellent work. And I think that just in general, I think that there is a negative stigma to her, but I don't know if it's 100% as fair as people are making it out to be. I think that like the people that are saying like she's faking an injury, I think that's really whack. I
No,
think
I
that
don't think she's faking it.
yeah, I know some people are saying that, and I think that's extremely disagreeable. I don't know. Big T saying she's holding the company hostage with plans going forward with the ideology that she's going to be able to fit into anything that they do at any given moment. It's wrong. What do you exactly do you mean by that? She's holding the company hostage with plans moving
So
forward.
she's basically telling them with her injury, like, listen, when I come back, I'll come back. I'll let you know. And then I'll just jump right in. And it's like, no, we have storylines going on. You can't just jump right in. We need to know when you're coming back so we can write you into it, you know? I think that's the way I think that's what Big T means there.
But even that, I'm not really 100%. Like, well, she is the women's champion, and at the end of the day, whether you like the interim thing or not, that's not a Thunder Rosa call. As Thunder Rosa has said, like that's like if you don't like it, that's fine. But then that's an
Yeah.
issue you have with Tony Khan's booking. Tony has done this every single time, and yeah, I'm not super crazy about the interim champion thing either. I think that if you can't go, a month, if you're going to be out for more than a month, then yeah, I think you do need to relinquish the title or something along those lines. But at the end of the day, Tony Khan, he likes the interim championship model. He's going to keep doing it. And I think that for how they handle it, I think he does a great job with it. Again,
I
not my
agree.
cup of tea, not what I would do. But you can't sit here and say Thunder Rosa's holding the company hostage. Like, no, she's their women's champion. Like that's factual. And just because she's not being super transparent with her injury to us, even though she has been, she's aiming for January, she said. Um, so Big T saying she just needs to be stripped of the title. T, if that's what you think, that's fine, but that's not something to be held against Thunder Rosa. That's an issue you have with Tony Khan. Then that like don't take that and put that on the talent. That's not on the talent at all.
I think it could go both ways because when she realized that the injury is going to be as long as it is, she should voluntarily say, hey, look, I'm going to be injured for a lot longer than I thought. I'm gonna give up the title. You know what I mean? They could both have done one or the other. You
I
know?
wanted to do the same thing, but Tony Khan said hell no. So who are we to assume that Tony Khan wasn't going to do that for Thunder?
True,
Again,
true.
I don't want to. I just don't want us to play the role of smart Mark and not Sterling. I mean, like, or Smark. Let's say a Smark. You know, I don't want us to be those guys where it's just like, oh well, Thunder Rosa clearly thought that. Like, no, I mean she's hurt. Like we can't assume that that she said I'm going to hog this title. I mean, at that point, that's just a perception of from the fan base.
Yeah.
At no point has Thunder Rosa openly said that she's like like this, like I don't know. And at the same time, like you, wrestlers should believe in themselves. Like Thunder Rosa should be trying to put herself over. Like she should say, when I get back, I'm defending my title. Like she should say that I'm still the champion, guys. Like that. Like I don't know. I'm not going to hold that against Thunder Rosa. That's just if you don't like the interim championship thing, that's more of a Tony Khan thing. Which again,
I mean,
that's
I
fine.
pretend I don't even, the interim word doesn't even exist to me. You won't hear me say it unless we're like specifically talking about it.
Yeah, and again, like I've said, like I'm not the biggest fan of it, and some people work with that, and some people don't. Um, I think at the end of the day, to wrap it up, kind of on the Thunder Rosa thing, I think that the Thunder Rosa hate is really overblown. I think that people took, oops, sorry, knocked over my microphone. People took these stories with her and really just kind of ran with it, and and she even kind of did a little bit of a shoot about it on Busted Open a few weeks ago, where she's like, it fucking sucks. It's hurtful to go online and see people saying these things that you never said. And I don't know. Maybe I'm feeling a little sympathetic because I do feel like there's some unnecessary ragging going on, with her. I mean, I don't know. I think she's a great worker, great talent. Can she be better? Sure, absolutely. Does she need to, is the sandbagging complaint valid? Yes, it absolutely is. But that doesn't mean I'm just going to be like, well, I'm done with her. She's no good. Like, I
Yeah,
don't think
I don't know if
that's
it
that.
was just that. There's just a culmination of things where I just kind of fell off. I was just like, whatever, you know?
Again, I still argue that I think it was bad booking. I really do. It's just she won the title and then she didn't talk the next week and then she got taken out by Nyla Rose the next week. And then like the week after that she didn't really she got to speak, but it wasn't much. And then she
True.
faced Thunder Rosa. Like it just, in my opinion, wasn't a very good title reign. The same, like, let me put this in perspective. The way that you guys all talk about Hangman Adam Page's title reign is how I feel about Thunder Rosa's
Oh,
title
for
reign.
sure. Yeah,
She
absolutely.
didn't do anything. She didn't do anything during that title reign. Like, on paper, did she have some matches? Yeah, she defended against Nyla. She defended against Marina Shafir. She defended against someone else before Tony Storm. And then the title gets vacated. But it's like, I don't know. I think it's extreme. I think it's really extreme.
No, I
I
can
don't
see how you would feel like it's extreme, and it probably is. It's just, I'm just, honestly, though, that's just how it feels at the moment. I don't know why, or can't put my finger exactly on it, but something just made me be like, whatever.
That's why I'm thinking like when Thunder Rosa comes back, if I'm Tony Khan, Thunder Rosa, have her come back as a heel.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Take this negative energy that people have, formulated, right or wrong, which again I more so think it's a little on the wrong side, and work with it. Have Thunder Rosa come back and be like, screw you fans, you guys, I got hurt. I do this for you. I come out here and I wrestle and I got hurt and everyone's saying I faked my injury, that like no one cared that I was really the champion. Everyone wants Tony Storm as a champion, even though I'm the champion. I would work it. I would absolutely work it. Um, Jeff, I'm going to turn my camera off for a second. I need to plug my computer into my charger. I didn't do
Sure.
that.
All right. Oh god, my camera's all messed up. We'll just go back to this one. So, yeah, Jamie Hayter had a great match here with Riho. Tony Storm came out looking incredible. I can't wait to see where all of this goes. This could go all different directions, like you were saying. It could be wild. Next up, we had Eddie Kingston in the back with Renee Paquette.
Okay, I'm back.
Eddie Kingston is absolutely great, man. This guy is just he's just amazing on the mic. He can do so many different types of an interview. Like he kind of did an interview here where he was like supremely pissed off and didn't want to do it, but because he likes Renee so much, because obviously his one of his best friends is John Moxley, and that's his wife, so he's got to be nice to her. So he was like super pissed off, but being super nice to Renee at the same time. This was just such a good interview, man. I loved it.
Yeah, and and my first thought watching this was like, whether it be character or not, like it's character, it's a work. But I'm like, man, Eddie Kingston is struggling mentally right now.
Yeah.
This guy is going through the ringer, and it's really cool because his character has been an advocate for mental health. He did the suicide prevention video. He had the best one out of all of them, in my opinion. He went for like 10 minutes, and it was really cool. But yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting storytelling. It's Eddie Kingston's character is a very complex, dynamic character, and you wouldn't think it. You would think he's just this tough guy from New York as his character, as his gimmick. But like, no, man, it's just he's dealing with these issues where he has this anger, he doesn't know what to do with it. He's dealing with this depression, he doesn't know what to do with it, and he cuts these promos where he's like holding up a bottle of Jack and talking about just down it in one go, and it's powerful stuff. And like, obviously, like, some people might not read into it, but that was what I took away from this. Is just Eddie's struggling, and as a character, he needs to find a way to kind of overcome that. And I'm clearly relating to a feud with Pac, I think, as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right, next up, we had a Darby Allin video package. He was kind of talking about how Sting has been gone for a couple of weeks because Darby wanted to retire, and Sting said, "You can't do that." So then Darby said, "Well, then let me do this on my own." It was an interesting way to separate Sting and Darby here at the moment. What did you think of this?
Yeah, kind of another like mental health thing where it's like it's not even about retiring. It just sounded like Darby didn't want to exist. And he's like, I just want to crawl into a hole and stuff. And yeah, I mean, could it just be that Sting is asking for some time off? I mean, he's like 67. Yeah, it's probably more so that. But there is a tease for next week that I'm intrigued about. He talks about how Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal last week said that they have an old friend who knows Darby's weakness. And so Darby basically says, "Hey, bring your friend next week." So I don't know.
So who would know Darby's weakness? Would be somebody who has defeated him in the past. I'm saying Miro.
Could it be Miro? Maybe. See, the problem is that old friend implies like deep history for me. That's how I took it. I don't know if
Miro
that's
took his TNT
true.
title from him, didn't he?
I guess maybe. Yeah, I guess that has been it's been over a year since that happened. I don't know when. Like during this segment, I'm thinking like 3 years ago. I don't know. For some reason, it seemed like something like an old friend from the past. It's like, oh wow, that's pretty. Sounds like
who did he win the
happened.
title from?
Darby beat Cody.
Yeah. It ain't him.
Man.
Brody King? I mean, if it's Brody King, that's not very long ago.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like, maybe it is like, and why would the House of Black show up with Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt? That's my next thing. Like,
Miro would make sense. Miro with the big dude, Satnam Singh, kind of would make sense.
I don't know, but like, why? But like, is Miro an old friend? I guess he does know his weakness. Maybe it is Miro. I think Miro sounds like a really logical choice.
Yeah, just because he took the title from him. That's my only reasoning on that one.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty sound argument. I think you might be right about that. But we will see next week.
What about Jeff Hardy? Oh shit! What a good fucking good pick, T. Because go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
As I said, we're past the 30 days of the normal rehabilitation. You know what I mean?
Well, my follow-up point is that it needs to make sense in the context of the storyline. Why would Jeff Hardy show up with Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal
as a completely new character, like maybe Willow or something?
Maybe, I don't know. It's not a bad pick. For me, I'm trying to fit it into the storyline of who would show up.
Yeah, that is a good point. How would that make sense?
Yeah, like Jeff Hardy just like shows up. It's like it's Jeff Hardy. He's like, "Hey, I know my brother Matt's currently in contract hell with the firm, but I'm gonna work with you guys. It's like, oh, okay, that seems kind of weird, but all right.
If
I
it
don't
was
know.
Ari Daivari, I'd be like, oh, Hardy's got court fees he needs to pay.
Oh, there you go. The old friend CM Punk. CM Punk shows up with Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal.
Oh, okay. What if they're not talking about one of Darby's old friends, but maybe one of their old friends? Who would be an old friend of Lethal and Sanjay?
They said it was an old friend who knew Darby's weakness.
It's got to be Miro. It's the only thing that makes sense. But we'll see.
I think it's interesting that they're doing a rematch this soon. They don't do that very often because they did
Yeah, you're right.
the anniversary show 2 weeks ago. They had Darby and Lethal, and now they're doing a rematch. There's got to be something to this with this old friend. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if it turns into a tag match or a 2-on-1 or something. All right, so next up we had the AEW World Championship with Jon Moxley versus Pentagon Jr. or Penta El Cerro Miedo. Man, this match was fucking awesome. This match kicked ass. Both guys just 100 miles an hour right from the beginning. Huge dive to the outside from Penta. Dude, even the picture-in-picture had really good action for this one. The first commercial, did you happen to pay attention or no?
Picture. No, I'm usually trying to update my notes and stuff.
Dude, the first commercial, we had Penta doing suplexes on the outside. He was giving Moxley chops on the outside up against Rita the ring post. And after like 3 chops, Moxley like dove out of the way and made Penta chop the ring post. I was like, man, this was a good spot. This needed to be on TV. This whole picture-in-picture commercial was actually awesome.
Yeah.
During the match, Penta hits his arm breaker, where he basically pulls your arm all the way back. They used to, back in the original AEW days, they would play this off like he really broke somebody's arm. But now it's just kind of like a painful move. And instantly I started thinking about MJF's finisher being the salt of the earth, you know what I mean? And, him taking that arm breaker and possibly getting put in the salt of the earth at Full Gear. We could probably do something in the story like that, but Mox didn't seem to sell it too much throughout the match. Like every once in a while he would kind of shake his arm out, but not as much as I would have hoped if we were going to continue that to Full Gear. This was just an absolutely excellent match. Penta hits Mox with a disgusting package pile driver. They showed a replay. Mox just landed like straight on his head. I think Taz said he landed right on his bean. That was a good one. But Mox hits a paradigm shift followed by a Death Rider, and they finally called it right on the announcing there. They said paradigm shift for the first one, and then Excalibur said Death Rider for the second one, because he did the over the head thing there. And Mox gets the win, and immediately the Firm comes out and makes their attack. What did you think of this after MJF specifically telling them not to touch him?
So I do want to talk about that, but I'm looking through Twitter trying to get some like post Dynamite news. And at first, the time I thought was really funny on this, but this was tweeted before we talked about it. But Thunder Rosa tweeted, "I thank you all for the support. I know where I stand." Thunder Rosa. She
Okay.
tweeted that she tweeted like an hour ago, so it wasn't like she was watching us or anything. But I think it's funny that we were talking about Thunder Rosa, and then that happened. That's quite funny.
Well, she sure wasn't thanking me for the support.
No, she was thanking me. No, I'm just kidding. But no, stop hating on Thunder Rosa. She's fine. She could be better, but that doesn't mean you should hate on her. Anyways, so we were talking post match. You said MJF getting attacked by the Firm, or Moxley getting attacked by the Firm.
Yeah, we were talking about Moxley getting attacked by the Firm right after,
okay.
MJF had specifically told Stokely Hathaway not to do this.
Yeah, so compelling ass television this is. So yeah, Mox gets attacked by the Firm, beat down. MJF stands out on the at the stage, and he's like, I don't want to help. I want to win the title. I don't want to help Moxley. I know that if I go to help Moxley, I'm probably gonna get my ass kicked. So then he walks back, and then he fucking bolts Like that was the fastest run in I think anyone has ever done.
Yeah.
That man was dead ass sprinting. Like that reminded me of like that was faster than 2006. I remember when DX got back together. Like Shawn was booking it to the ring to save Hunter, and like man, that was faster than that. He was like lightning. The camera didn't even catch him. But then so he goes in the ring, he fires Stokely, fires the Firm, and the Firm responds by taking him out. They beat the crap out of him, and then they put him through a table. Shout out to the podcast.
Yeah.
So, a lot of thoughts. Number one, I think that there is no better way to legitimize a faction than to have them destroy the top two guys in the company.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that that was really smart to do with the Firm, regardless of the direction that you're taking them in. Especially like the guys that stood out there. Ethan Page stood out to me there.
Oh, 100% Ethan Page did. Yep.
Like I would like if this is the direction they're going in, and like the Firm is splitting away from MJF, and this is an MJF babyface turn, which we'll talk about. Like Ethan Page is the star of this faction. Like that was what I got from that. It's like everyone in that faction is very talented. I don't want to take anything away from anyone, but like Ethan Page is the guy in that group. I thought that there was no better way to legitimize the Firm. My next thought is, are we just being fucking worked?
I thought the same thing, man.
Like,
but
here's my thing. Right?
Taking that ego's edge, you can't work that. That was legit.
Unless MJF said like, "Hey, just beat me up. We'll make it. I'll take the bumps." You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like.
I think really this was separating him from the group. Like, okay, no more MJF in the Firm.
So here's my thing: the greatest trick that the devil ever played was convincing people that he didn't exist.
Yeah, but we know he exists now. He's calling himself the devil.
That's what I'm saying. It's so there. It's so there. Like I don't know. Like here, because like, and this is what's great about it right now in tonight's Dynamite in general, because I was under the it's not assumption, but I was kind of predicting that Regal was going to help MJF at Full Gear, and like that was going to be the thing. It was going to be MJF and Regal. You know what I mean? And I thought that was going to be how the Blackpool Combat Club like dissolves. But like now I don't know, because it's like, okay, well MJF seemingly turned face against the Firm. What's the dynamic here? Like there's so many moving pieces that like I think one way or another, I think almost everybody thinks that MJF is walking out as the champion. But how are we going to get there? And I think that's really beautiful in and of itself, where it's like, is Regal going to turn? Is MJF working us and the Firm is going to turn? Like what's going on here? What's the play here? And part of me just finds it really hard to believe that MJF has since All Out, and since MJF returned at All Out, he has been working the fans. See, and that's another thing Big T said. Like, I could see that being the case too. Punk helping MJF. Like that, I really can see that happening as well. It's just like, since he's come back, he's done it very, very bluntly, where he's working the fans, where he's just, you know what I mean? He's just openly saying like, I can make you fucking people cheer me. That's not a problem. It's very easy to do.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if this is MJF just pulling the strings, because you know what I mean? Like it's a really weird thing, because MJF is so over. The argument to turn him babyface is definitely there. Like it's totally there. It absolutely is. But it's just like at the same time is like it's Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Like I don't know. Like I would love and welcome a babyface MJF. But like, I just don't know if they do it. I just don't know if that, because as much as I love babyface MJF, heel MJF is fucking incredible. Like I don't know. I'm sitting here and I just, Big T says, picture the lights go out. Punk is dressed in the same attire that MJF returned in, mask and all. Yeah, again, I think that could be a thing too. Like there's just so many ways to do it, and yeah, and I'm just my number one takeaway is like I can't wait to see Dynamite next week. Well, they said they were gonna have details on Rampage, so I can't wait to see Rampage on Friday and see what's going on with that.
So check it out. So Punk returns, helps MJF. Moxley versus Punk, and that
Well,
way Moxley gets to defeat Punk and kind of get his, like, I don't want to say payback, but his receipt or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because Moxley
the
should have
problem
won
is that
that.
Punk's going to be out for another 8 months.
True.
Punk's probably out till like June if he's coming back. He probably comes back at Double or Nothing. Truth be told.
Yeah. I'm wondering, could he swing a chair? Or could he pick someone up and give him a go to sleep? We don't know.
Yeah, Big T. That's also that would be a nice touch. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's very intriguing television. It's captivating. I want to know more.
Absolutely.
I mean, if they go the route where MJF is a babyface here, I mean, cool. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going with the firm and MJF here, but I'm fine with MJF being that, like, devil baby face. It's fine with me. But it's great. I'm loving everything they're doing right now. They're firing on all cylinders. Did you catch what we have going on for Rampage?
Yes. 1 second. All right, so this Friday on Rampage, I believe we're live again this Friday night. Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta versus Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. Madison Rain versus Ty Mello. And the TNT Championship, Wardlow versus Matt Taven.
Is that only 3 matches?
Only 3 matches.
One of those is going to be a long match then, huh?
Yeah, I would assume the tag match would be the long one, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And then live on Dynamite next Wednesday, we have Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal. We have the Daddy Ass Birthday Bash. We have a 3-way dance for the All Atlantic Championship. Orange Cassidy defending against Luchasaurus and Rey Fenix. I find it really funny that on the match card, it shows the U.S. flag for Orange Cassidy, the Mexican flag for Rey Fenix, but no flag for Luchasaurus. And someone on Twitter was like, "Well, they didn't have a flag for Pangea, so." Because he's a
It should have
diamond.
been the Jurassic Park symbol.
Yeah, that would have been funny. Saraya and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, will have a sit down with Renee Paquette. The Ring of Honor World Championship will be on the line. Chris Jericho will defend against a former Ring of Honor champion. Now, again, Chris Jericho's promo kind of implies that it would be any champion from like any belt, but Excalibur said it will be a world champion. So, Jeff, who do you think it's going to be?
I mean, I'm wondering if they're just using words, like it could still be a world tag team champion, you know what I mean? But we're running out of guys here that I guess we're not running out of guys, but who's available is kind of my question. I'm wondering if it's going to be a guy that I'm not sure. I don't know if he's ever been the Ring of Honor champion, but his name is El Vikingo Del Hijo or something like that. Del Hijo?
See, it's not CM Punk. He's going to be out for 8 months. Stop it.
But yeah, El Vikingo Del Hijo. I'm not sure he's ever been a Ring of Honor champion, but he's the current AAA champion. That'd be awesome if it was him, but I honestly have no idea.
I have 2 picks. I have 2 theories.
Okay.
I think one. I don't know. I think they both sound. I think one sounds very plausible, and the other one is not plausible, at least in my mind. I think my first pick is Jerry Lynn.
Okay.
I think
Makes
that
sense.
I just feel like if Jerry Lynn was going to do one more match, I think it would be against Chris Jericho. Jerry Lynn is an extremely underrated pro wrestler. He didn't really do much in the Fed, so that why people don't really remember him. But no, not Omega. Was Omega Ring of Honor champion?
That's what I was just about to say. Was he ever champ?
I don't think he is. If he is, that could work, but I don't think Jericho's going to beat Kenny on his return match.
No.
And I don't think Jericho's dropping the belt to anyone yet. So that's my first guess. My first guess is that they set up this match for Jerry Lynn, where Jerry Lynn can come back and he can at least face Jericho. You know what I mean? And I think that they wrote him off where he did the pile driver a week ago. They probably were like, "All right, Jerry, take 2 weeks. Try to get yourself right for this, and we'll have a match and we'll see what happens with it. Maybe it'll only be like a 10-minute match, but maybe we can have fun with it. And it could just kind of be like his farewell match, even though he's been retired for a while. The other idea that I have is Nigel McGuinness.
I'm gonna be honest and say I have no idea who Nigel McGuinness is.
Nigel McGuinness is a former Ring of Honor World Champion who was doing commentary work with the Fed, but they released him. I believe he was doing NXT commentary work.
Oh, okay, that's the night. Okay, that guy.
People assumed that he was doing commentary work because he was no longer cleared to wrestle. However, he had clarified about 6 months before he got released by the Fed that he is cleared to wrestle. He was just doing commentary.
Huh.
So
that's not a bad choice, to be honest.
No, I don't think it's a bad choice at all. I think I would love to see him and Danielson go at it again. They've had some good fights. But those are my two picks. I think Jerry Lynn, Kyle O'Reilly. I don't think Kyle O'Reilly is going to be back yet. He just had surgery, so I don't.
What about Adam Cole?
Adam Cole, that could work, but again, I just don't think Adam Cole. Again, I don't think Jericho's losing anytime soon. So do you bring Adam Cole in to lose to Jericho? I just don't think right then and there that's the right spot for that.
I think you DQ the match somehow. You shit finish it. They don't happen often. I'm fine with it.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. It could work.
Like have Jericho run off and get counted out and just keep his belt,
Yeah. I wonder. So, a little bit of theorizing. I think that the elite coming back, part of me wonders if they're going to be like, fuck AEW. You know what I mean? No, what if they come back and they're like, you tried to erase us? Well, you can't, and we're taking over.
I mean, yeah, that would be cool if they come back as like heels.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Come back as like heel, not like openly like fuck AEW, but just be like, we're like this is
tried to get rid of us, Tony Khan. We're taking over your show.
And my follow-up thought to that is what if they were like, I don't know, because again, Bobby Fish was a butthole and kind of ruined the whole thing. But what if they kind of make up with Adam Cole? And it's just no, actually, I guess
they should. I actually think he should be involved with the elite. Like he's part of the elite from back in the day. So
yeah, I don't know. Well, part of me just wants them to get the whole gang together. I want Adam Page, Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega as this faction, and they're just we're the guys.
I want the whole gang back together, man.
Yeah. That's what I want. That's what I really want. Because here's the thing, and it's the real ironic thing with AEW is the elite has never really been whole at one time. You know what I mean? Hangman and Kenny kind of broke away from the Bucks, and then Kenny went back to the Bucks, but Hangman didn't. And then Adam Cole finally debuts, but then Kenny goes away, and Adam Page is still over there doing his thing apart from them. So you got Kenny in the Bucks, and it's just God damn it, can you guys just all come together at one time?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Small thing for AEW Dark. Only the real ones who really like AEW Dark are gonna like this. But Jeff, are you aware that there is a big time match happening on AEW Dark on Tuesday?
I don't believe I am aware of it. Would you like to enlighten me?
The match is happening. They literally shot a promo for it for an AEW Dark match. It is for the 4th time ever. Peter Avalon versus Brandon Cutler.
Peter Avalon versus Brandon Cutler.
Yeah. Now that is a deep cut for the AEW fans. If you're watching, you got to go back to Dark during the pandemic. You know what I mean? But that was back when Dark was 2 hours long.
I mean, You gotta love Pretty Peter, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, you remember all that stuff, right, with the initiative and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. But yeah, they shot a promo. It aired at the end of Dark, and it was just like, it was like, yeah, the two of them were just like, we like 4 years or 2 years ago, we had a double disqualification and then a double count out. And Peter Avalon was like, it was the worst night of my life. I lost to Brandon Cutler. And Brandon Cutler was like, it was the best night of my life. I beat Peter Avalon. And so they do this thing where they're just like, this next Tuesday on Dark in Daly's Place, where it all began, Brandon Cutler versus Peter Avalon. And they actually stood face to face.
Nice.
It was like putting their fists up. So yeah, again, that's a deep cut for the AEW Dark kids, But I'm gonna be watching. I'm very excited for
Y'all
that.
have to check that out. That's gonna be good.
Yeah, Dark had a good match this week with Jungle Kiona, I think her name is, and Riho. That was a really good match.
Okay. Big T says Eddie Edwards is also a former Ring of Honor champion.
No, it's not Roderick Strong. He's still under contract with WWE.
Is he? Okay. All right. Well, you got anything else for us here tonight?
No, I think that just about does it. You should probably look up who Nigel McGuinness is.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look him up. I remember him as the announcer, but I want to see him do some matches. I actually had no idea he was even a wrestler.
Yeah, I believe he was also like a Ring of Honor pure champion. Hold on, let me see real quick.
Jeez. Leave it to the Fed to take a guy who was champion somewhere and put him in the fucking announcer's booth. The hell?
It's just it's Fed things. Let's do a quick little run through here. Nigel McGuinness. He is best known for his time in WWE, where he worked as a color commentator for NXT, NXT UK, and NXT Level Up. As a wrestler, he is known for his work in Ring of Honor and Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan. He held the Ring of Honor Pure Championship for a record 350 days and is a former Ring of Honor World Champion, holding the title for 545 days.
What? You put that guy at the commentary table? You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, hold on. I want to see real quick. Championships and accomplishments. Trying to look through just stuff. He was Pro Wrestling Illustrated ranked him number 6 in the top 500 singles wrestlers in the PWI 500 in 2009. Apart
Dude,
from
if it's Marty Scurll, I will flip my shit, T.
Yeah, I don't think it's Marty Scurll. Apart from his Ring of Honor championships, he also did a stint in TNA where he was a TNA World Tag Team Champ. Oh, that's weird. He won a number 1 contenders tournament with Magnus. So pretty much Ring of Honor is what he's known for. He did a stint in TNA, but he didn't really do much there.
A 500-day plus world champion
for Ring of Honor, yeah. He was with Ring of Honor from 2004 to 2009. And then
I'm having a really tough time wrapping my brain around how that guy sits at an announce table when he has that resume.
He was in TNA from 2009 to 2011 after he left Ring of Honor. And then I wonder if he did any in-ring work for the Fed. I don't believe so. Let's see here. He returned to Ring of Honor from 2011 to 2016. And then after being recommended by WWE lead commentator Michael Cole, WWE announced that McGuinness had signed with the company as a commentator. So he did no in-ring work for WWE.
That's insane.
Yep, he was 205 Live and main event commentary teams. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it.
That hurts my brain, dude. What was Seth Rollins' title reign?
How long was it?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think it was 500 days. You had a guy who was on par, and you had a chance, and you put him in the announce table for NXT. What?
Hold on, I can tell you.
What?
Let's see here. Tyler Black, Seth Rollins.
That literally hurts my brain.
Jerry Lynn is a former Ring of Honor World Champion, as I already knew, as I said he would. Could be Jay Briscoe. Jay Briscoe is a former Ring of Honor World Champion.
I don't want him to lose to Jericho, though.
Let's see.
Austin Aries, Low Key, or Homicide. It could easily be Homicide. It could easily be Low Key. I don't think anybody wants to touch Austin Aries with a 12-foot pole, but
Yeah, I don't think so.
could be.
Why don't I see? Did I miss? Hold on. Sorry. For some reason I missed. Oh, there he is. Tyler Black. Tyler Black held it for 210 days. So not even half the time that Nigel held it for.
I'm
For
baffled.
comparison, Brian Danielson held it for 462 days. And then how long did CM Punk hold the title? CM Punk held the title for 55 days. And then I think he won. Didn't CM Punk win it twice? No, he didn't, just once. So yeah, that's in comparison to how much time Nigel McGuinness was. What is he the longest reigning? Hold on, let me look at that next real quick before we close the show out.
Yeah, Jamie Noble's like security. He's like one of the
Samoa
guys in
Joe
the
held it
suits.
for 645 days. So that might be the record. But it looks like McGuinness has the number 2 with 545. So hold on, let me see.
Imagine never putting this guy in a ring. What?
Yep. Okay, so I can confirm Samoa Joe holds the record for the longest Ring of Honor World Title reign at 600 and what was that number I said? 645. 645 days. The second wrestler to hold the Ring of Honor World Championship, or this, the second longest reign, is Nigel McGuinness with 545 days.
That's every time we say it, it just makes it more confusing. Like there had to be an injury or something where they didn't think he could compete. I don't get it at all.
He said he's good to go.
Like we know Corey Graves had an injury for a long time. You know what I mean? But I get it. He was in the ring at least at one point.
Yeah, I mean, going through this list, I think my 2 picks are very realistic picks. You know what's funny? Oh, here's something else that's kind of funny. Jerry Lynn was the person that beat Nigel McGuinness.
Okay.
So there you go. Jerry Lynn held the world title for 71 days in 2009.
I think you've got 2 choices that are gonna be it. It's either Jerry Lynn or Nigel.
Well, when that happens, just give me my flowers. That's all I ask.
Hey, it's recorded on YouTube forever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. I think that's going to do it for tonight. We are approaching midnight on the East Coast. You want to go ahead and close us out?
Absolutely. Well, this has been episode 84 of the Broken Tables podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe or a follow, depending on where you find us. Thank you to everyone who hung out with us here live on YouTube.com. Thank you to Big T and everyone else in the chat who hung out with us today. Thank you to everybody who's checking us out in the future, not live, like the coach. Shout out to the coach. And shout out to everybody else who's listening to us on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. You can follow us on Twitter at Broken Table Show or on Facebook and Instagram at The Broken Tables Podcast. We go live on YouTube following every single AEW Dynamite, Rampage, and even pay-per-views. Rampage is live this Friday at 10 o'clock. The Phillies World Series is going to be starting at 8 o'clock. I don't know what's going to happen in terms of if I'll be here or not. Probably. The odds of me being here for Rampage are very strong. Dynamite the next week, not as strong. But, regardless, hope to see everybody next time.
All right. And remember, Rampage is an exclusive to YouTube show. So if you want to see our AEW Live Rampage review, make sure you're here on YouTube. It is exclusive over here. And with that, we thank you guys very much for being with us tonight. And until next time, top guys, out.